Welcome to the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast. You are now part of a small underground movement of dent technicians from all over the world. We are on a mission to change our industry with innovation, intelligence, and skill. But because we don't rely on an insurance company to steer customers our way, we need to do things different. We need to do things smarter. We do that through a network of technicians that we call the Tactical Tech Movement. Now let's get this revolution started.
Hey, what's up, everybody? John Hiley here with co-host Angela Hiley on another episode of the Tactical Podcast.
Yes.
So what's happening out there, everybody? I hope everybody's having a glorious week.
Yes.
Especially after last week's episode.
Yes.
Where you guys pretty much heard a 43-minute rant.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was really good. I was like, woohoo! My man, how to do it.
Hey, look, though, I haven't really put it out there yet as far as, like, you know, all of our audience is checking it out. But I am going to be pushing it this week. It's quite busy trying to get everything ready for. We got the Mega Media event coming up in Arlington here in just a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm excited about going to Texas.
Oh, yeah. We already got it hooked up, yo. We're, like, hanging out with Christina and Craig up there in Anson.
I'm ready to see what Texas can offer me.
Yeah, we got a hella Mega Media crew showing up, of course. And then we also got our boy Woody Koss coming up there, Amanda Koss, his wife. The wifey Amanda is going to be speaking on graphic design.
Yeah, and she's awesome.
Yeah, she's absolutely amazing. Y'all haven't seen the Dead on Dents logo or some of her logo work. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. But look, we also got Christina from Anson PDR Tools is going to be speaking for us.
Whoop, whoop.
And she's going to be breaking down how to reinvent your company. If y'all ain't out there being reinventive all the time, you know what? You're probably missing out or you're probably falling behind. So we're going to teach y'all a little bit on how to do that. And no perfect person other than Christina. I don't know if you guys remember, some of you old school dent techs, like what Anson, kind of like what they were like, you know, I don't know how many years it's been, like 7-8 years ago compared to today. Well, that was pretty much all Christina getting in there and reinventing their entire company. She actually bought it after her grandfather had passed away. And she went in there and put a young mind to work, and basically they turned their company into what's like the Cabela's of dent removal tools.
I like how you guys are having some women speak this time around.
Well, also we got Kanya speaking too.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, Kanya is like, Zig Ziglar was right hand woman, Tom Ziegler's right hand woman.
Yeah.
You know, we got her, like, if y'all don't...
all you men will be learning something.
Hey, and that's it. Look, if y'all don't know about...
You're putting it down.
Right. So if y'all don't know about Zig Ziglar, if I say Zig Ziglar and you think I'm talking about Dirk Diggler, your mind's probably in the gutter to begin with.
Who's that?
You don't know who Dirk Diggler is?
No.
You don't know who Dirk... Should we Google it and show you? All right, guys. She wants to know who Dirk Diggler is.
Wait a minute. Did you show me something?
No. I haven't showed you anything about this. No. I'm going to show her right now on the podcast, guys. Hang on.
Is it the one that talks about the 3 fingers in the hole or something like that?
No, I don't think so. You may have done that, though. Let's see.
What, you showing Jonathan the other night?
No. D-I... Yeah, Dirk Diggler. They got some images. Let's check it out. Okay. Let me see if I can find a good image of Dirk Diggler.
He's not a porn star, is he?
Hey, hang on.
Oh, he is? Oh, so I got it. Okay. I don't want to see no nakedness. I don't want to see no wieners.
Jesus Christ, is that Dirk Diggler?
I don't want to see no wieners.
No, that can't be Dirk Diggler. Holy smokes.
I don't want to see no wieners.
All right, so yeah, she doesn't want to know who Dirk Diggler is. So
am I right?
Yeah, he's a porn star.
Oh, okay. from like, is this somebody that's like present, or is this somebody like from back in the day?
He is from back in the day. Hold on.
They don't have just a picture of his face.
Yeah, hold on.
Well, you were trying to pull up one with his wiener showing, and you were going to show it to me. And then I would have been appalled. I'd be like, oh, dear Lord.
Hold on for a second.
I don't like looking at wieners.
I
I mean, yours, that's, you know.
It follows the rise and fall of Dirk Diggler, a well-endowed male porn star.
Let me just see what it looks
character was modeled on American
like.
porn actor John Holmes.
I don't need to know a description. I just want to know what he looks like. I just want to see what his face looks like.
Oh, did Dirk Diggler just play John Holmes in a movie?
Can you please just show me what this looks like?
I may be wrong about all this. Hold on. Let's see.
He's not a porn star?
Follows
He's
the
an actor?
rise and fall of Dirk Diggler, a well-endowed. Oh, he was a porn star. Okay.
Okay, so what does he look like?
Hold on for a second.
Is he a skinny guy or a chunky guy?
You know, he's got a little buffness to him, to be honest with you.
That is not what I meant. Like, I meant was
You
he
mean
like...
his penis?
No, I'm not talking about
There
his
he
wiener.
is.
Oh, that guy was a porn star?
Yeah.
He's got a mullet going on.
That was in style back then.
Oh, okay. Damn it. I was hoping he would look like, you know, had the... just
Like
the...
Ron Jeremy?
Yeah.
We talked about having Ron Jeremy on the podcast.
I don't know about all that. That's just...
From my understanding, like with his financial situation, he'd probably do it for $50.
I don't know if I want him. That's like, that dude is slimy.
Oh, come on.
Oh, I don't know. Like, just the name Ron Jeremy makes me feel dirty. Like,
Really? He used to open for Sublime. How did we go here? How did
I
we get
don't
here?
know. You started it. You started
Okay,
it.
I want to go back. I went to a rabbit hole. Let me go
Yeah,
back.
just how we...
Let's go.
This is just the beginning of the podcast. We didn't even get into, like, what we really
need
wanted to talk
Hey,
about.
wait a second. I was just
We
going
went
to tell
so
them
left.
if
We
they
went
didn't
so
know,
left.
if they did not know who Zig Ziglar was. Oh my
But
god!
then you brought in...
I was explaining the best salesman in the world, and we went
I
down
know.
a porno. I'm glad we recovered and we remembered where we were at, though. Because if we didn't remember where
But
we
this
were,
is us, though.
oh god. Okay, so you guys are used to the podcast, and guess what?
No, like, that's why
we love
they've
that
been married
shit.
for over 17 years
We
now.
love this shit. Okay, so if y'all haven't heard of Zig Ziglar, Tom Ziglar, especially Zig Ziglar, y'all need to go and buy one of his audiobooks, listen to it. The guy is the king of sales, and if you guys are in business whatsoever, you are in sales. You're selling yourself, you're selling your services. So I recommend it. Check out Zig Ziglar, and we're going to have his people at our event.
His people.
He had since passed away, so we can't have him there. No. But his people going to be there.
He'll be there in spirit.
He'll be there in spirit. We're going to be teaching all his lessons, all that good stuff. So
Like, oh.
yeah, we got my buddy David Wright's the lead business coach. So he's going to be up there, and they're actually going to be hanging all weekend coaching people.
Yeah.
Good times, y'all. Once you guys hear this, we only got 3 tickets left, so
Ooh.
I don't know. Y'all check the link. Go to
That's all right.
denttrainermedia.com. Check it out. If it's available, it's available. If it's shut down, it's gone.
Yeah. I had one of them days today where I was like a bumbling fool. Every time I talked to a customer, like, blah, 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 blah. Just like, damn it. Just one of them days.
Yeah, I've kind of had a crazy day, too.
That a girl goes through.
It just seems like little shit was coming at me today. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like all this little shit that just arose that I had to take care of.
that happens.
And
That happens, huh, Lily?
it's all good, though. Very, very productive day. Much more productive than yesterday.
I think Lily wants to be on the podcast, too.
Yeah, she'd like bark and shit.
No, she wants to howl.
Yeah.
No, actually, she wants to drink in my beer.
Yeah. That's exactly why she's up there.
Give me that shit.
So our little miniature schnauzer will drink some beer. You just pour it in a bowl for her and she'll down that shit.
Yep.
So anyhow, y'all, we're about ready to talk about, like childhood stuff, because
You gotta say that quote.
right, I'm gonna tell them the quote, right? So we're gonna be talking a little bit about things that affect us from childhood, because I truly believe a lot of the issues or a lot of the baggage that people carry today or now is typically, from something that happened during our childhood, And the one thing that y'all got to understand, okay, everybody that I've ever worked with, everybody that was ever honest with me when I had spoke with them, talked to them in depth, basically everybody's had a fucked up childhood. Mm-hmm. From the rich kid that had all the pressure put on them to the poor kid that couldn't afford, the designer clothing. I mean, and everybody in between.
That'd be me.
Okay.
I was more than poor kids.
Yeah, but you were a banging looking girl though. That don't count. I'll show y'all pictures of her when she was
we weren't
in high school.
No, we weren't poor, but we were more like we were middle class. But like I grew up in Hamilton, Ohio, part of my life, and then I grew up in Greenville. And Hamilton is outside of Cincinnati.
That is so polar opposite, by the way, guys.
It is, but I was getting ready to like give them a little insight. So like Hamilton is outside of Cincinnati, and Hamilton is like low income to middle class. Okay, so growing up there, being outside of Cincinnati, you see a lot of things. You have to present yourself differently compared to when we moved to Greenville. And what I mean by that is that we lived in a neighborhood. We lived on a street that was okay. But my mom and dad told me that if I ventured off and went onto this other street, that there was a lot of havoc that was going on. So there was a possibility that something could have happened to me. Right?
Yeah.
So, and as soon as it even started getting dark, we had to be home because you never knew what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. For like instance, when a friend and I walked a couple blocks down to a local store just to get some pop and some candy, we come walking out of the store and there's an older man that's probably about 65. He's in a Escort, a two-door Escort, broke down two-door Escort, and is trying to get us to get into his vehicle. He's wanting to, basically kidnap us. Mm-hmm. And he was doing some other inappropriate things. I'm not going to go into details about that, but we took off running. Mm-hmm. And your instincts kick in, and you're running, you're screaming, and thankfully, there's a lady out back in the backyard, really, very close to this little convenience store outside in the backyard, playing with her two kids, and ran over there, and police were called, and we had to go down to the detective agency and do a sketch of what he looked like. This guy tried snatching up some other kids and then eventually was caught. So there's Hamilton, and then my dad gets this job offer to move to Greenville, and he takes it. So when I am getting ready to go into junior high, we moved to Greenville. And Greenville, oh my God, I so did not fit into this town. I mean, I had friends, but they never like truly got me because they didn't understand where I came from. But Greenville at the time was like this cookie cutter town where pretty much everybody knew everybody. All the kids grew up with one another. If you were friends, you were friends. If you weren't, you weren't. But you kind of knew who you were. Anybody that played sports, their last name was known in that town. You could be out past dark and nothing would happen to you. So it was a safe town to grow up in. For the rest of my childhood, but I just had a lot of social problems just because I was a lot different compared to a lot of the people that you know what I'm saying, like I was around. It was a hard adjustment. So I think a lot of people would understand that Greenville was like a farm town.
Right.
Like a little farm town. Either they were farmers or they worked in the local factories that were supporting that town.
You know, I think the other thing that kind of caused you not to fit in is, like, once again, I'll go back. I mean, you were beautiful. And that was trouble for a lot of the girls that you ran into there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, like, maybe, like, guys they liked would start to like you. Right?
Yes, that had happened.
Right?
That had happened. Like, when I lived in Greenville, there was a popular guy that liked me, and I ended up dating him. And I got so much hell for it. I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with people?
Right.
They were like, what do they see in her? She's not popular. She does not have one of our last names. And the majority of the chicks that were popular in Greenville, like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
They were like...
Looked like they'd been thrown in the dryer with rocks.
Yeah. I didn't get it. I did not get it. I didn't get it at all. I was just like, what the fuck? And unfortunately...
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's even more of a threat. You're more of a threat to them at that point.
I guess, you know, but unfortunately that led into, you know, other things that happened to me. Like, I was bullied in high school. Like, junior year, like, big time. Bullied to a T. There was some chick that I was friends with, and then our friendship just didn't work out. She became friends with these other girls, and...
Didn't one of them reach out and apologize to you?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
I think we all look back and see shit that we did back then. We kind of want to apologize about it to some people.
Yeah.
There's definitely people that I offended at certain times, you know what I mean?
But I honestly feel like all the situations that I was put in with having a child, you kind of reflect on your childhood and you're like, okay, this is what to do and what not to do.
See, that's why, like my protective instinct wants to come out, like, when she tells me that. And I'm always like, I wish I would have known you back then. I wish I would have met you back then. I wish I would have been with you back then, you know? Because
But
I had a way when I was a kid. You know what I mean? I had a way of making it to where things like that didn't happen to people that I loved, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you gotta go through certain things to
Sure.
get the prize at the end.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. You know, that's...
But that's true, though.
It's true, though.
It is.
You're right. Yeah, you're
you know? Like, I had to be in a
because
fucked
we
up...
could have, we could have got together and had a bad start, you know?
Yeah. I had to...
Bad timing.
I had to be in a fucked up relationship for a few years before I met you.
Yeah.
So...
Yep.
You know?
Yep. And I believe that derivative from that relationship was, if you don't mind me saying, was probably because of a divorce in your family between your mother and your father.
Yes.
And that, I never really understood that hurting somebody because I really didn't experience that level, you know. But being with her, I know why it hurts, you know, and I know like a deeper understanding of like how it affects the children.
Well, I think what it was is that they were together for so long. They dated in high school, and, you know, they got married. You know, and I think sometimes, like, when you're a kid, you look at your parents and you think that they can do no wrong and they're perfect. Okay?
Right.
So that's what me and my brother, we kind of felt. And then all this shit started going on. You know, my mom running around on my dad and doing a bunch of other just stuff that just wasn't right. And you see it just all fall to pieces.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what the fuck?
I kind of came in on the tail end of that.
Yeah, you did.
And you know, she had just moved back in with her father. And God, how old were you when we met?
You were 19 and I was 20.
All right. So, I was 19. She was 20 whenever we met. She had been like living with her father. And I went over there and would. Actually, I never came back there. I think I went there a couple times and I wouldn't come back.
That's
but
because of my brother's dog.
that fucking dog. Dogs mostly, like every dog I've ever met loves me. But this dog loved nobody.
No,
It was a chow.
She loved me, and she loved my dad, and she tolerated my brother.
And that fucking dog was the meanest thing on planet Earth.
She was a chow
Its
lab.
name was Cujo.
Yeah, she was a chow, a lab, and a Dalmatian mix. But she was built like a lab, but her face, she looked like a Shar-Pei.
And she was big as shit. Like,
Yeah,
really,
she's
that
a
dog
big
was
dog.
probably 30 pounds, maybe?
No, I'd say she probably...
Oh, when she lived with, when she got older,
she got fat.
Yeah, she had gotten, but she was mean as shit then.
I know she was.
I mean, that dog also would let you, like, it would let me pet it, and then 2 minutes later, it would be growling at me and showing its teeth. It was
Yeah.
wild like that.
Like it was gonna maul you.
Right, So-
Bite your dick off, John. No. I'm just messing with you.
God, she does say that sometimes. Like, you're fucking do that. Cut your...
I don't say that.
Yeah. So, but, the whole premise of this show, guys, we're going to talk a little bit about our childhood. We're going to move on to some other things. But, like, the whole premise of this show is that, like, everybody has a fucked up childhood. I mean, I would doubt it. Like, if you said there was something that wasn't, like, fucked up in your childhood at some point that has you looking back or has you, like, doing things in a certain way that you could change, you could become better, right? Is that I would say that you're probably lying, if you've had some sort of perfect childhood. Like, there's nothing there that ever affected you. But the key is, like, to understand, like, everybody has a fucked up childhood. But if you stay fucked up, then that's your fault.
It is.
There's a certain point where you got to realize that everybody goes through like similar shit. And we talked about this, okay?
Can't be dwelling on
So,
it.
like I said, like, the way I grew up, okay? In a weird way, I kind of, I treasure pain in a way. All right? So that's one thing that I learned in life is to treasure pain a little bit, okay? And what I mean by, you guys might say, well, why would you ever want to treasure pain? Why would you ever want to treasure something that I feel and that hurts, right? Because the one thing that you guys got to realize is that you wouldn't even know pleasure if it wasn't for pain. Mm-hmm. There's got to be a deep contrast of everything in our life, okay? For us to enjoy the good things, we must feel the bad things.
Yes.
Everything in this world has polarity. It's on and off. It's give and take. From love and lust to, everything in between, all right? Everything has a polarity, all right? And until you learn to appreciate the down, the pain, the hurt, then you're just going to allow it to destroy you, Sometimes when I feel pain, and I never got this because I had a guy a long time ago, one time I was... I don't know, I was like bothered by something. He's like, feel it. Feel the pain, right? Feel it. Mm-hmm. I'm like, fuck you, man. I don't want to feel that shit, right? But now I kind of understand where he was coming from, because like that is a derivative of the pleasure, of the good parts of our life, okay? Mm-hmm. Imagine if there was no pain in this world. We would all look like a bunch of smiley Ned Flanders. There would be no dynamic. There would be no... There would be no
boring.
depth. There would be no depth to our lives.
Like, I've always told Jonathan, like, growing up, I was just like, it was like if the world was made with the same people, it would be such a boring place.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes, like, I hear this voice, like, telling me, right? So somebody says, okay, well, fuck you, man. I lost my father when I was 12. Okay, so I'm gonna try to explain something to you. All right, this is something that I learned. I read a book from the guy who owns Chick-fil-A. I can't even remember the dude, Truman, or Shit, I can't remember his name, but he has a book out there. I'd recommend you reading that, especially if you've lost a loved one in your life, somebody close, okay? And in that book, the interesting thing was he was questioned that. He said, well, aren't you mad? Aren't you mad that your brother, he lost his brother at an early age, that his brother was taken away from you, okay? And he basically looked at the gentleman and said, but that's thinking about it under the premise that I owned him. Mm-hmm. Okay? But what you got to understand is everything that you see in this world, you do not own. Okay? It's on loan to you. Yeah. It is given to you for a limited amount of time, and that is the reason why you cherish the time that it is given to you. Okay? You have to understand that at a deep level. It's given to you. Everything is given to you for a limited amount of time. You own nothing and nobody. And I see you're tearing up a little bit because you're thinking about Jill, aren't you?
No. I wasn't thinking about Jill. I was thinking about somebody else. But...
Okay. You don't have to talk about it. Unless you want to.
No, Jill was our sister-in-law. It was John's brother's wife. And...
yeah, he woke up one day and she was gone,
She was 38 years old. They were out the night before at a birthday party. Mm-hmm. Out having a good time singing karaoke. And came home on a Saturday night and went to bed. And he got up and it was
cooking breakfast.
Yeah, cooking breakfast. Him and Logan and
their son.
Yeah, Jill never got up, and he went in, and her back was turned towards him, so he thought she was just sleeping, and he walked over and realized that she was already she passed away. She had a brain aneurysm.
Yep.
She passed away in her sleep. She was 38 years old.
I mean, what does that tell y'all out there, though, right? So we spend so much time looking in the past or looking at our past and saying, we're looking back at the past so hard that our neck hurts, okay? But then we're also looking into the future, trying to plan the future, okay? Which, believe me, I'm all about making plans, but also living in the day, today, and now.
Living in the moment.
And living in the moment is an important thing to do, being that nobody or nothing we have, including ourselves, is guaranteed another moment at any time.
Yeah.
So, going back to the original premise of what I was talking about there, is that
You always gotta get me all teary-eyed on a lot of these damn podcasts, I swear.
You know what I mean? But going back to the original premise, okay, of what people go through, we were talking about that, the kid that grew up like I grew up, right? You know what I mean? I was abandoned by my parents at an early age. My grandparents adopted me. Had many times growing up where, it was, terrifying moments. Had to fight a lot. I mean, I can't even tell you guys how many street fights I've went through, how many people that I had to fight just to get from one side of town to the other side of town, how many times I've been jumped by multiple people, how many times I had to retaliate against multiple people. I mean, it was an ever-going cycle that was like that of just, dog eat dog is basically where I lived. There was times where we were worried about getting hit with a drive-by. We had several times that people were trying to get us, trying to chase us down. We tried to get them back, blah, blah, blah. It just was a rotating cycle of where I grew up and where I lived.
You say that, and when I think about when I was growing up in Hamilton, there was so much crazy chaos. There was a lot of broken homes that I always I remember that when we all went to school, when we were all there in school, everybody was cool with one another. and it was like a safe place where we could just be kids.
I could see that at your age. When you get into the high school level, things change.
Yeah.
Things change there. I mean, for me, they did.
But what I'm saying, like, it was just a nice place where everybody could go and they didn't have to worry about what was going on at home. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right. So it's like, but like, who's to say that I suffered more than some like rich kid? Like, I know some kids that grew up, like, I know an individual who was a son to one of the best attorneys in that town. And he was a friend of mine, you know. And the kid grew up more fucked up than I'd ever see anybody fucked up. And it was more emotional type damage, right? So was the pain that he was going through emotionally stronger than mine, equivalent to mine? I don't know. But I have a belief that we all have these tests, you know what I mean, that's up against us. And I want to say that they're rather, you know, there's a lot of, there's some equality there, right? And I think a lot of it is the emotional damage that happens, right? To us. Like, how do we emotionally accept something? How much does it kill us? How many nights do we stay awake? How long are we scared and hurt and, you know, fucked up? Because I spent a lot of nights like that growing up. You know, I spent a lot of nights like worrying night after night after night about what was going to happen to me the next day, or if I didn't do this, what was going to happen. And a lot of it was strategy on how to get on top, which eventually I ended up on top, okay, of that little town. And not really a little town either, you know. But I eventually ended up to the point to where basically the police station had contacted a lot of my friends' parents, and they had meetings about thinking that they basically thought that we had them outgunned, although we didn't. But there was a notion that we did, okay? And we ended up like getting to the point when I was growing up where intimidation got so bad, you know what I mean, the way people were, that you had to surround yourself with a ton of people. And we had fights that broke out that were somewhere among the 100 and some people versus 100 and some people type fights. It got to the point to where there was one fight that broke out with another city. That we had to like do shirts and skins.
Oh my God. I don't know why I want to laugh at that.
You know what I mean? Like when you play basketball, though.
So corny.
When you play basketball, like literally, that's what had to happen to know who you were fighting.
So who decided that was going to be shirts and who decided it was going to be skins?
To be honest with you, it was Ryan. Ryan Schwartz that was the one up front that decided that.
Oh, really?
It was a buddy of ours named Ryan Schwartz.
Were you guys shirts or were you guys skins?
We were skins.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
You know, that happened, believe it or not, that happened at the country concert. And you want to know what broke it off was Ryan Schwartz smashing some dude's face with a lawn chair. And then it was the neighboring town of Sydney that we just crushed into.
Oh.
It was like, honestly, it was like an episode of Vikings. But with just fist flying everywhere.
I would say kind of, I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but it's not going to be like so heroic and
oh my
you
God.
know, this is going to be more kind of like cheesy, and I bet you guys were kind of pretty intoxicated.
Yeah, we were pretty intoxicated.
Yeah.
And we were at a country concert.
And you guys were like slurring your words.
Well, yeah, that country concert, though, I don't give a fuck, man. You guys think you're going to come up to the country concert in our area?
No, I think it's probably tamed down some.
God, that place was dangerous as fuck back then,
Yeah,
though.
but I bet it's tamed down.
There was people that were killed in the fucking porta potties.
Yeah, from them being tipped.
Can you imagine dying in a fucking porta potty that was tipped over in the door?
Yeah, I wanted to go up there one time, and my parents were like, no.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's...
Just think, if I was allowed to go up there, we might have met.
To be honest with you, like, I was there several years, and I don't hardly remember any of it.
Oh. You would have remembered me, though.
Oh, yeah. I probably would have knocked you up, and we'd have, like, a 24-year-old.
Oh, my God.
If you could have found me afterwards.
Oh, dear Lord. No, you would have been finding me.
Oh, shit. I don't know if I knocked you up.
Because that's what happened when we first met.
Yeah.
You ended up, like, tracking me down, and I ended up meeting up with you the next night.
That's right. I did track her down.
Mm-hmm. You did track me down.
Because when I met with you, I don't know. It was crazy. It's like she lit up the whole room. And
No, you lit up the whole room. And I just remember, like, the night that we met, okay? So this girl that I used to hang out with, like, calls me up out of the blue. And I am working at a nursing home as a nurse aide for third shift. And at that moment in my life, right, I just got rid of all the people I was hanging out with. And I was like, this is time to focus on Angela.
yeah.
It's time to do you and figure out what you're wanting to do with your life.
And then Big Daddy comes along.
Yeah, you come along. What happens is she calls me up and she's like, hey girl, we haven't hung out in a while. Why don't you come down and visit me? And I'm like, okay, but is there going to be any guys there? Because she was notorious for, like, anytime I was around her, she would always, like, bring these nasty guys around.
But honestly, she was kind of like way down on our list. Like, she was a dirty ass bitch.
No, wait a minute. But, so I'm like, oh, okay, Anita, I'll come down and hang out with you for a few hours, but I gotta leave because I gotta work. And she's like, okay. And I get there, and she's like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna have these guys come over. And I'm just like, what the fuck did I just get myself into? So the door knocks, knock, 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 knock. And here comes Ricky, and I'm like, oh, God.
That's my boy, too. His name's Rick James.
I was like, here comes Ricky, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
God. Here comes John walking in the door, and I'm like,
Oh, God. A different oh, God.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, God. It was like, oh, God.
I was like, what the fuck just walked in the door? And it was like the light, it just lit up. It went ding, ding, ding. And I was just...
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I was on point back then.
And, he had his hair growing out. His hair, like, John's got this beautiful hair when it grows out. Like, it's super dark brown. It's all silky and shiny, and it's curls at the end. And you just walked in.
Long hair, boys.
He had a pair of Vans on. White Vans.
Yeah.
White Vans.
Vans, yeah.
White. Okay. For some reason, I can't pronounce that word. Had a pair of Lucky jeans on, a cream sweater, and he had a hemp necklace.
Ooh.
And a double deuce of Heineken in his hand.
A double deuce of Heineken.
And I was just like, I need to get to know this guy. And I had a pair on of Adidas tennis shoes, pair of Lucky jeans, an Abercrombie & Fitch shirt.
Yeah, and I seen her. I was like, damn, I guarantee you that ass is good. like I was looking at, like, I'm like looking from the front side. I bet you if she rolls over, that ass is popping. And I was like, all right, so like I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this.
No, I said, I already know what I have to do to impress this guy to getting hooked. Like, I already knew what I had to do.
She played a Fish CD for me, right?
Yeah.
Hey, man, if you're, what is that? If you're young and you're not liberal, you don't have a heart. And if you're older and you're not conservative, you don't have a brain. Is that what it is?
Something like that.
Yeah, so
But I was all heart.
that's what we were about.
I know.
Ended up like falling asleep on her lap that night.
But we talked all night.
And I didn't even fuck her that night, which is rare for me.
I didn't let you do that for like 3 weeks.
It was like 2.
No, it was like 3.
It was totally weeks. That's a long time for me, guys.
Yeah, and I got pregnant with Jonathan a month and a half later.
That's how I knew it was real, though, I mean, in all honesty, like I just knew when I met her. And then she was warned by this girl that,
I was friends with 2 girls that John
Dated
previously dated.
Which
is so odd. I worked with one.
they talked all kinds of shit about me.
Yeah, and I was friends with the other. And then I hung out with some people from Piqua that knew John, and all they could do was say all this bad stuff. And I'm like,
A bunch of fucking bitches, too, by the way, guys.
Listen.
These are the people that would walk up to me and blow me. Like, blow me face to face.
But
And
the
then go
thing-
talk behind my back.
But the thing was, I was like, who the fuck is this John Hiley? I'm like, why do people give such a damn about this individual?
Evidently, everybody was talking about me.
But then I met him, and I was just like, oh, it just seems like a really cool guy to get to know.
Ding, ding.
And we had some amazing times.
Right.
Yeah.
And she was basically told not to fuck me because I would leave her immediately afterwards, which made it a little harder on my behalf.
Yeah.
I had to do everything but like beg, plead, and I think I pulled guilt trips on her, you know.
Yes, you did.
In the moment, you know what I mean?
You pulled a major guilt trip.
Everything I could to get
and
in
I
there.
gave in, and I was just like, what the fuck am I doing?
Boy. She probably thought I wasn't going to call her back, but obviously, y'all, 17 years later, are we sitting here today?
I know, but the first time wasn't the greatest, though, because I was, like, so worried.
It was fun for me.
Well, of course, it was fun for you, but it wasn't fun for me.
Exploration, you know?
But then after that, it was on like Donkey Kong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you started...
She was worried the whole time that I was going to leave her afterwards.
But that was the first time, though. But listen, you started showing me a side of you that you never showed to anyone else. And that's when I knew that we had something really, really special.
Yeah. All right, guys. So obviously, we still chilling here today to bring you the most badass entertainments in the paintless dent removal industry. So, the biggest rants, the biggest hearts, and we appreciate you guys, right? So, I'm going to tell you a little something. So, I take Miss Angela, because if y'all don't know this, which I'm sure you do, but her birthday was March 3rd.
Yeah, and then John got, like, extremely shit-faced, so he couldn't take me birthday shopping on Sundays. So he took me out a couple weekends ago in the Corvette.
Where I bent both rims.
Because he hit a pothole by accident on the interstate.
It's in the shop today getting a new rim.
Yeah, and some new tires.
Yeah.
And it's all covered under...
Some damn... I will tell you guys, buy the wheel and tire. If you buy a really, like a Corvette or something, you know, like a car like that, like buy the wheel and tire insurance.
Yeah.
I think it's only $700, and that shit covers everything. Mm-hmm. Everything. Like, literally, I just got a $500 wheel fixed, and the rear wheel's getting ordered with the new tire, and that is an $800 deal, like another $400 tire. Like, I've already doubled my money on that thing.
Yeah.
And with them Corvettes, you hit a pothole, like really hard, it will fuck it up. So, but anyhow, going back to taking her out down to Cincinnati for her birthday.
Because we were going to go shopping at the Kenwood Mall, and John stops in at Starbucks, and he's like, oh, I'm going to go in and get some of those dark chocolate espresso beans, and I was like...
That are fucking awesome.
Yeah, and I don't, like, eat sweet stuff, and I was just like, oh, I'm going to treat I hardly ever eat sweet stuff. I'll eat stuff... See what I'm saying? How I told you I've been like...
It's all right.
Tongue-tied and
You're
all
cute.
this and that. But I told John, you know, because, like, I hardly eat any sweet stuff anymore. I don't, you know. And I was just like, oh, my God, I love those things. I'm so going to treat myself today and eat me some dark chocolate espresso beans. And he brings them out, and I'm, like, eating them. And he's like, man, Angie, you are, like, super-duper excited about this.
She was like, asked me, like, do you want any more of these? And I'm like, Jesus, I only ate 3 of them.
I was like,
Can you give me some of them? And then she eats them all. Which they kind of like give you a caffeine buzz.
Yeah.
They're espresso beans covered in chocolate. They're like crunchy
dark chocolate. They're
coffee,
so
dark
good.
chocolate. They're fucking awesome.
Oh, they're so amazing.
And,
but you can eat the whole bag, and it's only got 230 calories on it.
Yeah. So
if you're counting calories. If you do
I'm not a calorie counter, but I'll just eat the bag. But... that being said, we get to the Kenwood Mall. And the most unorthodox thing that ever happens to her. She has, like, fucking chocolate all over her somehow.
I have it
She's
on the
got it
bottom
on her
of my
pants,
sweatshirt.
on her shirt.
And I have it on my jeans right by my crotch. And I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do, John?
And that shit was, like, not coming off.
It was, like, dried. And I was like, what am I going to do? I can't go into the mall like this. And John's like, I have a t-shirt in the back. And
So
I
I
was
get
like,
a tactical shirt out.
and I was like, I have some water left in my water bottle.
And she like starts scrubbing her pants, and from a distance, I'm looking at her like, these fucking people. I'm like, hey, she couldn't wait till we get home, guys. Hang tight. And I was walking around like Warren, like Warren on something about Mary. I was like, have you seen my baseball? And then like Ben Stiller gets pulled out from getting his ball stuck, and he's like, he was masturbating.
Yeah.
He was masturbating.
Like,
So like
people are
I'm walking
driving
around
by,
and
and
they're
they're
going,
like-
she's masturbating.
Yeah, their eyes are all popped out.
She's
of their
masturbating.
head, and I'm just like, man, I don't give two shits. I'm getting this damn chocolate off my sweatshirt and off my pants. And you know what I did? I had a wet spot that was the size of a softball when we walked into the mall, but within a half an hour, it was dried. Mm-hmm. So.
And then we're chilling out there, right? She just gets finished up, and all of a sudden we see some little Chinese dude like jump out of this Mercedes Benz, and he walks up to this like a small Chinese guy jumps out this Mercedes Benz and walks up to like an Infiniti SUV in front of him, and he's like, "Hey!" He like starts yelling at this guy. Well, this giant fucking white dude jumps out.
Yeah, it's probably about
this guy
6'5".
had to be 6'5", like probably I don't know 250 or something like that. And the white guy goes, don't you understand that you're the one that hit me? He's like, you went through that stop sign. You were supposed to stop. Do you understand that, sir? Do you see that, right? And this Chinese dude's like, I'm calling the cops. Like, he's like in this guy's face yelling at him. And I'm sitting there thinking,
No,
man,
he's trying to be in his face.
I'm like, this motherfucker better know karate. You know what I mean? Like, or, he better like, if he knows karate, he might have a chance against this dude. But so they're like at it, you know what I mean? And we're just sitting there watching, and my instincts are like, I just kind of want to go over there, And then it's like, no, don't do it, right? So we ended up like leaving and walking into the mall, and I realized I'm like, we're going there for Kung Fu Tea is one of the main goals that I wanted to go there for.
I know, it's
She
so good.
obviously wanted a Coach bag, but the fucking Kung Fu Tea is like the craziest shit. I don't know if you guys have a Kung Fu Tea. They're kind of like hard to find, but they're in bigger cities. But like you can get like a milk tea,
Yes.
and you can have them put bubbles in it, which is basically like these black tapioca balls down there at the bottom. They give these giant straws that you can actually suck them up,
good.
in.
Oh my
the
God.
shit is fucking delicious.
It is amazing.
And I'm sitting there thinking, like, that Chinese dude was fucking coming here for Kung Fu Tea. And he was probably pissed because he hadn't gotten it yet, And then, like, he gets in this little bender, and he's like, fucking, not only has he hadn't had his Kung Fu Tea, he's fucking arguing with some guy, and he's probably the one that fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, because that guy had the right of way because there was no stop sign and he was supposed to stop.
And that kills me, That fucking pisses me off, man. I'm like, I gotta stop at a mall, and then there's like these entrances that have no stop sign. But you always get that dumb motherfucker that stops there.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, dude,
You got the right of way.
yeah. And so many times people do not pay attention if there's a sign when you come into a mall entrance, like a stop sign.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to that dude.
Yep.
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 So pay attention to your shit. Watch the signs. Mm-hmm. And above and beyond that, guys, if y'all are dealing with shit from your past today, okay, you need to start putting things in place to begin erasing that shit, okay?
Well, not necessarily erasing it. What you need to do is you need to deal with it, you need to accept it, and you just need to throw it out there in the universe and move on.
And never blame your situation on it, okay?
Exactly. Don't be doing
Because
that shit.
the moment that you...
Don't be doing that. That's so wrong.
The moment that you blame anybody or anything for issues that you face today, including maybe your wife, okay? If you blame her for a situation that you're dealing with today, which I see a lot of that with men, probably a lot with women too, of course. Don't talk to them about that. Or if you blame somebody in the past for something that you're dealing with today, you're fucking up, okay? Because now you have disabled yourself the ability to correct that problem because it's outside of yourself, okay? The moment that you begin taking personal responsibility for everything you feel and everything that's going on in your life is the moment that you free yourself to be able to find a solution to correct it yourself, okay? But the moment you push it out and you say it's somebody else's problem or somebody else affects me or this other shit is the reason why I'm like this, you have no ways or means to change that, to correct yourself. So I recommend owning it all.
Owning it. Own
Own
it.
that shit.
And move on. Because tomorrow is a new day.
Yep. And if y'all want to shoot to like from where you're at today, which I'm not saying, I know a lot of you are really successful. But if you're like me, I'm always trying to go to the next level. Okay.
We all have something to work on.
We all have something to work on. Okay.
There's always room for improvement.
There's a shit ton. A lot of people think that like I'm like so crazy fucking they see what I'm doing out there and all that, like I'm so motivated. I'd say I may be running at 50% max, I'm just trying to get to 70%.
And then he's got me kicking him in the ass saying, "Come on, you can do it."
Gotta have a good woman, right?
I wake his ass up every morning at 4:30.
Yep. But ideally, y'all, the deal is right. If you're dealing with the same thing over and over again, it's because you have certain habits that are not aligning yourself with what you want. Okay. So the beginning of change is changing your habits, identifying them,
Break them,
and changing them. Okay. And this whole fucking bullshit that says you gotta like seek to be motivated all the time. Look, I'm not telling you not to sharpen the axe. I'm not telling you not to learn and be engaged, okay? Spend time in that. I do as well, right? But the truth of the matter is, if you're waiting for fucking motivation to make things happen, you're weak, okay? And your competition is doing the exact same thing, all right? Y'all are both weak. Now, if you can do shit that you're supposed to do when you're not motivated, when you have the flu, when you feel like shit, okay? And you're gonna feel like shit. Not every day is gonna be motivation day. All right, look, if you do something good on a motivation day where you're motivated, I'm not even gonna fucking give you praise for that, okay? Do something good and meaningful on a day that you can't even fucking get out of bed, all right? Because that's the key to being a champion. And they lie to you. They say that you got to learn to be motivated. You got to learn, fuck that, man. I've met so many people that are motivational speakers that smile and dial, they're up on stage smiling, and I meet them, and deep down, all right, they're just like me and you. They're just trying to get you to, suck the dick of a shiny fucking unicorn and follow them hoping Skittles will come out the other end. And there isn't one, okay?
And tickle their balls at the same time.
That helps. But there isn't one, okay? Like I said, don't leave the motivation cup. Fill yourself, sharpen your axe, but be aware that what makes you a champion, what makes you better than everybody else, is the ability to do it when it hurts. Because you got to bank on the people that are opposing you or your competition, the ones that you're working against, okay? The ones that are working against you. Whether they smile and look you in the face and say they're not, and you do the same to them, y'all are, okay? If you want to be the best, you're competing with somebody, even if that person is yourself, okay? But if you want to compete against yourself, if you want to compete against the world, the people that are against you, then you have to learn discipline. And you have to learn to do it when it hurts, because I guarantee you they're not. And that's where the power lies, okay? And the next thing is, never take anything personal, okay? Because they will. When they see you change your website, when they see you put new videos out there, they're going to get hurt, man. It's going to hurt them.
It's going to cut them deep.
It's going to cut them deep, right? It does, all right? But you know what? When you see that in their eyes, when they do that to you, laugh. Embrace it. Praise them for it. And then understand that was a battle, but it's not the war. Let it motivate you. Let it propel you to the top. And use these things that I'm telling you today to do so.
Amen. Amen to that. You go on with your bad self, John Hurley.
For y'all who made it to the end of the podcast, right there you go.
Oh, they're all going to listen to the end.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell
love it.
motherfucking yeah.
We love our audience because they're the best.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. So anyhow, we appreciate you for coming along for another tactical podcast.
And remember, it's all about the hustle.
She said it, right? The hustle.
The hustle.
But I'm going to tell you something a little bit deeper. Above and beyond the hustle, it's about the execution.
Ooh.
Get out there and fucking kill them.
Ooh.
It's the king of the jungle when I can't be tamed. Take you all the way to the millennium reign. It's the return of the germ, it's that funky worm. Heated like the bottomless pit when it burn. Bro, my flow you cannot handle. I'm bumping and I'm humping like a camel on your radio channel. It's me, THREAT.